Hi, welcome back to this episode of the MDS Guru. This is Melinda, and today I have Dottie Pataky with us. She's the Executive Director of the Missouri Association of Nursing Home Administrators. She has years of leadership and dedication to advancing the quality of care in Missouri's long-term care communities. She's been a tireless advocate for residents and professionals who serve them. Today, we're going to hear insights on her challenges, opportunities, and innovations shaping the future of nursing home administration. Can you start by sharing a little bit about your background and what led you to your current role in MANHA?
I started in long-term care in 1998 as a nurse assistant when I was going through nursing school. I graduated with my RN in 2000 and held many roles in long-term care as a nurse. And then 2010, I did go and receive my nursing home administrator's license. So during the past 27 years, I've done MDSs, I've charge nursed, I've taught CNA classes, and then became the administrator. And back in 2022, I joined MANHA as the executive director so that I can continue to help educate all administrators and their staff throughout the state of Missouri.
What do you see as the biggest challenge facing the administrators? I know you previously alluded to reimbursement. Do you think that's it? Or you think it's all the regulatory confines?
It's a combination of everything. And right now it's the staffing crisis that we're in. And also, the staffing crisis affects the whole facility.
Everything,
and
yeah.
Everything from the resident care to regulatory compliance, and then also the finances. When you're going in and doing orientation and an employee leaves, your finances are in jeopardy because that whirlwind of constantly bringing one in, trying to train, and then that person leaves.
Mhm.
So it's just that vicious cycle that just keeps reoccurring right now.
True. Do you see anything that's working well for administrators to retain staff? Do you have any suggestions?
Well, going back to that financial piece, it's that competitive wages, good, and then personalizing those benefit packages. But also not just, most employees, and especially in the long-term care, are going in because their heart and they love what they're doing. So in order to invest in that professional and to educate and promote within and training your managers effectively to know how to be strong leaders, that is the number one cause of employee dissatisfaction, is having poor managers, poor leaders, poor supervisors. It's not always just the wages and the money. It's also having that whole community that's learning and educating and then providing for each other and educating each other within.
I agree. I think that if you have environment that is not conducive to a good orientation, and we have to do so many things to maintain employees, that sometimes it seems like the ones who are faithful and who've been around get forgotten, and we try to do all the things for the employees to come on and to try to keep them. So it's definitely a balancing act.
Correct.
And I can imagine it be so difficult. Staffing is difficult everywhere and in every industry right now. What are some resources or training that MANHA provides?
We provide 2 conferences every year. We have one in February where we have our big trade show with our vendors. And then we have our June convention, where we offer, between the 2 of them, anywhere from 17 to 20 CEU hours for our administrators. We also hold spring and fall seminars, either 1 or 2 day, for administrators and their staff. So then that way we can also help. Like this fall, we'll be doing an HR training so we can get their HR team and their social service members like that from their staff. And we also collaborate with other associations when we have big regulatory changes or DHSS has important information that needs to get out there. So we collaborate together to get that information throughout the state of Missouri.
Where is your fall workshop?
Our fall seminar will be held in two locations. We'll be doing it in St. Charles and then also in Springfield.
Cool, very cool. And that's a 1 day thing?
That will be a 1 day HR, and Nikki Martin with Quipmo will be helping me present with that.
Okay, good to know.
Yes, and this spring we'll have a 2 day, I believe it's set for March. We'll be having a 2 day leadership workshop. We did it this past spring and we just did a 1 day, had an overwhelming turnout for it because everybody needs their staff to learn leadership and how to manage that. So we decided to go ahead and bring back Molly Mackey, who will be doing a 2 day seminar for us.
What agency is she with?
Molly Mackey is an individual that does leadership workshops, and she's from Iowa.
The convention I just went to, or education, was about leadership. So that was nice. And I think it's very much needed.
Yes, yes. A lot of our members, a lot of our administrators that come to our seminars and also our conferences, are wanting that leadership. And we also have a lot of new leaders out there that are needing that, a lot of new administrators. So I think this will be a good thing for everybody. And even us that have been around the block for a while can always use new leadership management skills. So
I agree. Do you think that technology is making a difference in long-term care administration?
it is. I mean, there's so much out there now, and especially now, and I'm not a tech savvy person. Again, I've been around for a while, so but and I'm learning how to do the AI and what that role is going to be
Right.
in long-term care. And it's amazing what that can do. And I'm still learning. So it's got a lot of advantages. I mean, technology in itself, just medical wise, has expanded so much, and there's so much new and innovative technology out there for us to use to better take care of our patients. So
Right.
it's ever evolving, just like everything, of course, and it's gonna have a huge role out there. It's
I feel like
just
the downside to that is all the social media stuff and trying to keep HIPAA and privacy maintained with everybody having their phone at all times in every building. So I've seen a struggle with administration trying to control that.
yes, it's a good thing, but it is a bad thing. So
Can be, yes.
yes, the social media is very hard, but on the other end of that, it's also very good because then it keeps those residents, if you're using it as a tool to be able to have residents be able to see their families that are far away or can't come in and visit as often as they'd like. It's that technology piece of it, and the phones and the iPads are wonderful for our residents. But
I agree.
then you have, again, like you just said, the employee piece of it that is it's hard. It's a hard struggle.
I've seen employees hook up their phones so residents can attend graduations. I've seen a
Yes.
wedding once. I've seen funerals. So I do believe it's an important thing, but it's something you got to keep your finger on for sure.
Yeah, there's a
What
lot of
role?
regulatory issues with that. So
Oh,
everybody's got to be
yes.
very well educated and have their policies and procedures in place with that. But it is a wonderful tool then for, like you said, to be able for the residents to be able to at least be a part of those special moments.
Yes, I agree. It helps keep them connected, which helps with like depression and eating and just overall helps their health.
Yes.
What role does the association play in advocating for the administrators at the national level or the state level?
So we're more at the state level. We do have a lobbyist that is in Jeff City for us that follow any of the regulatory issues that are out there that are related to our administrators and residents. And then we also collaborate with the other associations when there are bigger regulatory issues on the table, so we can be a force together versus just being a standalone entity or an association. We can get together and then collaborate and make sure our voices are heard.
That's great. I didn't know you had a lobbyist.
Yes, we do.
Where do you see Missouri's nursing home sector headed? In the long term, like 5 to 10 years. I mean, there's facilities closing with these Medicaid changes.
They are. I've seen a handful through the last few years that I've been in this role, but we also see some newer ones opening up, and a lot is in that assisted living sector. And I think that's going to be a huge thing because we have to remember that our aging population right now is our baby boomers, and they're currently between the ages of 61 to 79. And by 2030, which is only 5 years out,
It's
the
crazy.
number of Missourians age 65 and older is expected to exceed 2 million, which is huge. And you also know too that with this aging population as the baby boomers we have, their wants and needs are a lot different than the generation we just are taking care of currently, that were your farmers that, had a specific time that they came in and did things, where our baby boomers they're wanting a lot more autonomy. They're wanting a lot more technology
Absolutely.
and things
Hmm.
that they're currently doing in their homes. They're wanting that to be transitioned to the nursing home or to their assisted living or to that
I agree.
independent site.
I
So
agree.
we've got a lot of challenges with that headed our way.
I feel like one of the main things with that is like happy hour. When
Yes,
I first started as a CNA many years ago, we didn't do things like that. They didn't get to drink or smoke. They did smoke, but they didn't get to drink. That's for sure. That is for sure.
right.
If you could give any advice for new nursing home administrators, what would it be?
My advice to new nursing or aspiring nursing home administrators would be to follow your heart. We go into this for a reason. I mean, you don't just wake up one day and say, you know what, I think I'm going to be a nursing home administrator. You do it because you have a passion for what you're doing, and continue with that passion every day you wake up and you walk into your building, not only with your residents, but with your staff, and lead with your heart.
I agree. You should have passion if you're doing it. I may or may not have seen examples of not in what I do. What keeps you motivated?
My motivation is the teaching aspect and the education and the helping. I became a nurse years ago because I like to help people. I like to take care of people. So my motivation, and especially now in this role, is that I get to continue to do that, but I get to do it, of course, in a different aspect. I'm not so much patient care, but I get to help those new administrators, those new DONs. I get to help educate their staff. That's inspiring to me that I get to be able to do that.
I love the education. I love empowering facilities with knowledge on how to work around things with Medicare and Medicaid and capture the most reimbursement possible because they're doing the things. They're just not doing the documentation or the pieces needed to claim those things. And we all know that it's rarely a charity and you've got to have money to make things work.
Correct.
So, do you have anything else you want to add?
I would like to add that, going back to one of the questions that we just talked about in regards to the baby boomers, nursing homes need to make sure also with the baby boomers coming up that there are big opportunities out there in regards to how we're going to be able to take care of these. And we need to be very innovative, very open-minded of how our facilities are going to look and how we're going to be able to take care of this next generation. And that they're living longer, they're having more complex issues, and maybe we need to be open-minded on them, have units where we can be able to take on maybe a dialysis unit, where that's not a big thing right now in long-term care, but there is a big need for that, and it could be a very focused and something that just your facility is doing, which opens up a big opportunity for more residents. A little bit challenges, of course, but it is something that is very doable. But we need to be a little bit more open-minded that, our residents are living longer, they're having more complex issues, and that we need to be able to take care of these residents that are having more of these complex diagnoses. It's not just going to be your dementia patients. So We're going to have dialysis. We're going to have residents that need trach care or that are on a ventilator. And I don't really even think that right now in the state of Missouri, and I could be wrong, that there is even a nursing home that takes ventilator patients.
I,
So, I mean,
I don't believe there is. I
there,
believe we have
yeah,
to go to Iowa for that.
Iowa or Illinois, I believe, yes, ma'am. So, I mean, these are big challenges, but they're also great opportunities if we open up our minds, our facilities, and decide that we want to take these on.
Definitely. Thank you so much for your time and your input. I appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you for having me. This was a great experience. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Until next time, for the next episode of the MDS Guru, thanks for listening, everybody. Catch you later.